Okay, I have the parabola. All I did was I graphed the vertex and the focus. I knew it had to open around the focus, so that meant it opened downward. I looked at my chart here to determine because it opens downward, it's going to be a negative x squared. So because it's an x squared, I needed this formula that had the x squared. Anyway, the vertex is HK. Let's fill that in. What is the H? HK. The H is a 2. So over here I'm going to put a 2 for the H. The K is a negative 3. What is the focal length here? What is that length P going to be? From negative 3 to negative 5 is that length 2. So the P is going to be a 2, but because it opens downward, it's negative. So my final answer for this is going to be x minus 2 quantity squared equals negative 8 times quantity of y plus 3. Okay, I wrote down number 45. I can tell it's a parabola because only one variable is squared. Remember, if both variables are squared, added with the same coefficient, it's a circle. If both variables are squared and added with different coefficients, that's an ellipse. If both variables are squared and they're subtracted, that's a hyperbola. And in this particular case, when only one variable is squared, it's a parabola. Knowing that it's a parabola, I'm going to rearrange it, and I'll probably move the 12x over by subtracting it, and move the 35 over by adding it. So all I did was I subtracted 12x and added 35 to both sides. At this point, I'm going to attempt to complete the square. To do that, you need to have a leading coefficient of 1, which you do. Now you're going to take half the middle. What's half of 2? That goes here. Then you square 1, and it becomes 1. If you add 1 to one side, you have to add 1 to the other side, making this other side negative 12x plus 36. Can we factor that? If I take out a negative 12, what would that leave me with? Would that be x minus 3? Negative times a negative is a positive. So I've now put it in standard form. Standard form again is y minus k quantity squared equals 4p times x minus h. What's hk on this thing? 3, 1. So I would go to 3, 1. Which way is this opening? Right here I see a y squared on the left and like a negative 12x on the right. Would it be a negative 1/12? There's more to it. But is it x equals negative y squared? Which means it opens which way? I believe to the left. So I'm going to make this to the vertex and opening left. My vertex was, again, 3, 1, right? What is P, or what is the absolute value of P? If you look at right in here, does 4P have to equal negative 12? If 4P is negative 12, would P be negative 3? I always look at the absolute value because that gives me the focal length. If I go 3 to the inside, you'd have your focus here at 0, 1. If I go 1, 2, 3 to the outside, you would have your directrix at x equals 6. So I have the vertex, the focus, the directrix, all labeled and opening the correct way. So that would be the formula, right? I don't know why I got a cough. Anyway, we have our standard form. X minus h quantity squared equals 4p times y minus k. Hk is the coordinates of the vertex. So the first thing is I might fill in what h and k are. What's h? -3. What's k? Let me use a different color just to make it stand out. -3. What is k? 3. What is the focal length, p? 1. Is it positive for opening up or to the right? Yes, so it stays positive. So my answer on this would be x plus 3 quantity squared equals 4 times a quantity of y minus 3.